Hey guys, Anna here. Welcome to today's video. We are in Copperdale and we are building a 2x1 bedroom family home. And this is kind of in the heart of Copperdale. It's on the Water Tower Way lot, which is in the upper part, kind of, I guess, closer to Prescott Square in the world of, Copperdale. And this lot is a 20 by 15 lot. So it is what we would call a starter home lot. And I do think the lots in Copperdale are quite small. I think that even the larger ones are only like potentially a 20 by 30 or maybe a 30 by 40, maybe towards where the wow, by the pier. God, I couldn't get the words out then. But I wanted to build something small. So I didn't really have much inspiration for this build other than the fact that I wanted to build here in Copperdale. So I decided to kind of pull inspiration from the neighboring houses for the fact that it is a two-story build and the color scheme, I guess. So I decided a two-story build, but I wanted to still keep it small. So I went with this kind of stacked loft style kind of shape. And I just created something that is super cutesy and it looks so suburban. Like when I think of a really traditional house in the suburbs, I think that this is the type of build, and I definitely think I nailed that. In saying that, the floor plan was definitely tricky on this build because, as you saw with the stairs, there's only so much space, and the upstairs is only a small rectangle. It doesn't have that side bump out on the second story. So I only have limited space to where I can put the set of stairs. So in the end, I decided to put it on the far left side of the build in the corner. And that tiny space there is kind of like this open area where I kind of squeeze in a living room, but it's also to where the side door is for the outside, and it also has the archway that leads into the kitchen and dining. At this point here, we are very much finished the exterior in terms of the shell, and I'm going into the landscaping. So I took this beautiful pale sliding. I actually think it comes from Horse Ranch, maybe? Potentially Horse Ranch. That, or is it Growing Together? No. I don't know. I can't think of it anyway. It's this beautiful pale sliding, and it pairs really well with the pale blue sliding, which from the house next door. And I decide in a minute, you'll see, I go in with basic shuttered windows. They are from Base Game. And I use these bright red flowers that are on the front facade of the build. And I just think they make this build stand out so much. And it kind of gives a pop of color to the front of the build, because I think with the pale blue, it does kind of blend in. But the blue was identical to the blue in the front door, which is from Growing Together. And I really enjoyed that color scheme. I also decided to add in some trellises. You'll see them. Those are actually from High School Years, which is the pack where this world is based in. And normally they would be used to help like teens or Sims like sneak out, but I've decided to use them here just as a decoration piece, because where that a part of the build is actually the kitchen. So I don't usually put a lot of windows in a kitchen, just because I like to use upper cabinetry. So having the trellises there, they give the front of the build a point of interest, but without putting a window there, because usually I put windows that are front facing because it makes the exterior look better. Anyway, we're upstairs and I'm finalizing the floor plan, and this is the part where I managed to squeeze in a second bedroom. Now, it is a bit of a stretch to say that this build has a second bedroom. It's a very small bedroom, but it's still functional. And it is probably the smallest teen size bedroom or teen Sims bedroom that I've ever created. But I still think that it's okay. I do end up using just a single bed. You will see that when we get into the decorating. But I still think it's worth it. And I feel that I don't know, I don't really build a lot of 1 by 1 bedroom homes. You'll have to let me know in the comment section down below. Do you play in 1x1s? I just feel like the way that I play Sims, I outgrow houses so quickly. And I definitely am more of a family legacy player. So a build like this would only service me for a couple of plays and then I would need a bigger house. But anyway, if I was being more constricted to a smaller household and maybe a smaller, I don't know, a storyline that only involved a small household, this home would be perfect for that. And I really do think it's a great build for that, or even a teen living on their own, because in The Sims 4, you can have a teen that lives on their own. They don't need to have an adult as a part of the household. So from that point of view, this would make a perfect home. It is a bit expensive. I don't know the exact simoleons that it is, but I do think it would be expensive. But then again, there are so many ways to make simoleons in the game. All right, we are very much underway with the decorating. So I have talked over the decoration of the entryway. It's a very simply decorated. You lean into that very small space that I was talking about where I had to squeeze in a living room, but also a back door, but also the archway to the kitchen. And I think I've used the space quite well. And I wanted to furnish this home, I guess, very colorful. I wanted to use color. I wanted to use pastels. Pastels was obviously the theme of the build. It's in the exterior, it's in all the furniture. And I think with the pack of high school years, we did get a lot of pastel colored assets and brightly colored assets because of, it's based around teens and whatnot. This fridge that has all the magnets and it's very family friendly, I thought was perfect for this build. I also think the fridge is on the smaller side, like it's a narrower fridge, and it just suits this type of build. So I was really happy to use that. That's from, I think it's the kitchen clutter kit. And I've gone in with a small table that has a pink tablecloth. Pink was very heavily used throughout this build. And that is from Cottage Living, with chairs that come from Dream Home Decorator. They're more on the modern side. The counters are from Base Game stove, and we've used the sink that comes from the kitchen clutter kit. And yeah, and I've also just like furnished it in ways where I think potentially you could tell like a young adult or a teen sim lives here. I've got the weights there. I've got like a cute little clutter shelving thing that's like, it shows that this home is like minimally decorated. I thought that was really smart because I wasn't able to fit big bulky items. So packs like Eco Lifestyle, Tiny Living and whatnot, those are packs that really help you decorate such small spaces as like this one. The kitchen is super cozy. I built recently a cottage type build and I totally forgot that like there are so many cute decal assets in Cottage Living and like the country kitchen kit. So I really love that bread box. So I thought that just gave such a homely type family home type feel. All right, we are upstairs into the master bedroom. I think this bedroom definitely leans more masculine, which I think is okay. Like I think for an adult's room, sometimes I default to it being a little bit more on the feminine side, and I forget that you could have a single dad, or you could have a you could have two dads. This, or again, you could just have a bedroom that is a little bit more masculine or gender neutral. Very simply decorated. I loved the blue. The theme, I always have a color theme, and obviously that theme was the blue. I really liked the blue in the growing together bed, paired well with the navy blue. I love that navy blue wallpaper from the base game. I've probably used it a trillion times. It's like one of my go-tos for more of a masculine bedroom. We are in the girls' room, which is a teens room, but again, it's a single bed. You could also have a child sim in this room, sorry. And yeah, this is very cutesy, but I think that it works well. I still wanted to lean more on the modern side. So both of the beds are more modern. I think one of the overarching decor designs for the high school years was Art Deco. So this bed's Art Deco, and it pairs really well with a lot of the Dream Home Decorator stuff, which is very more IKEA-esque, which I know is more Scandinavian, I think. Anyway, love it. I've got like a hairbrush and claw clip piece. I love this little rug. This comes from Horse Ranch and little sheep. I just think that's so sweet. If you can hear rain in the background, I do apologize. It is winter where I live. So yeah, hopefully that's not too annoying for you. We are outside and I am doing the landscaping. So simply put, I just opened the debug menu and I just used a lot of the plants that were in the debug menu. So High School Years has these beautiful brown wooden planter plots that have those pink flowers. I've used it twice in this build. I'll use it again coming up. And I do like these. These are actually found, I think, in the town square part. And they just they're easy to decorate this space. They look a little bit more lived in as well. I kept the backyard very basic, just a standard barbecue and a seating area like I would normally do. I didn't want to put too many activities as I thought a teen sim lived here and I didn't think you would have a lot of outdoor activities. But also the space, like I didn't have a massive side yard, but I think it's great. I do end up putting a speaker on this table as well. The speaker is from High School Years as well. And I put in a flower arranging, table just because I thought, why not? We are live in game and we're going through the tour. So you walk in and you have your chess table on the porch. You have a beautiful simplistic entryway into the downstairs bathroom, the only bathroom in the house. Very simplistic living area. Love that couch. It comes from the Comfy Kish kit. And you walk through this archway into a fairly decent sized kitchen. And I do forget a bin. I think I'm going to quickly add that in now. Yep. Bin that comes from High School Years. Love the pink. Pairs really well with the blue. I'm just going to, change the curtains. Green. I think that pairs with the green bread box I was talking about. Okay, you head upstairs and you head into the teens room. I did put a laptop in here, which is good. And yeah, good size. Well, it's very small. And then lastly, you have the master bedroom. I love the combination of that modern bed with that rustic armchair that comes from Cats and Dogs. All right, you head outside downstairs and I'm just fixing the railing so it doesn't clip. And you have a very, colorful pastel colored umbrella table chair thing. And you have your standard grill and some gardening, and you have a trash can, which also comes from High School Years as opposed to a wheelie bin. And that is the build today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. And if you did, please like, leave a comment and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.